Welcome one and welcome all to the first ever National Racing League event. My name is Cale Teskar Jr. and we welcome you here at Chicagoland Speedway for the first ever NRL pre-race show. As this is the first ever NRL race and also the first race of the season, we have a lot to cover, so let's not waste any time. Well, the first question that may come to mind is, what is the NRL? Well, to answer that, let's give something of a history lesson. The world of stock car racing in America has been something of an untapped market. There has never been a major form of motorsport in the United States of America, and that is why the NRL, the National Racing League, was born. It was also formed to compete with major sports in America such as the NFL, the MLB, and the NBA to become a powerhouse in American sports. The NRL helps to become one of the largest pastimes in America, starting with today. But I'm sure that's enough history for you. So let's talk about the teams and drivers that have come here to compete for the win and for the championship. There are 15 teams in the NRL holding a combined 36 entrants for the full season. These teams vary in performance from 15th all the way up to 1st. Now there will be a Drivers and Constructors Championship. Now whatever team finishes higher in the Constructors Championship, their rank will improve. For example, a team that is the 8th best team, if they finish 5th in the Constructors Championship, then they will turn into the 5th best team and will thus get the 5th best equipment in the league. And with all that jargon out of the way, let's meet your NRL grid, starting with the 15th best team. Stuntman Racing Team is the 15th best team in the league. They only hold one car, the 77, driven by the 19-year-old Mexican Vanessa Rodriguez. Velocity Motors is the 14th best car on the grid. One of the latest entrants in the league, they tapped 41-year-old British driver Ken Kilos to drive the number 69 Fancy car. The 13th best team is a 3-car team. Shadow Motorsports fields 3 cars, the 0 of Quincy Torres Jr., the 1 of Angela Bryant, and the 5 of Chris Lanford. Diatech Motorsports is another late entry into the NRL. They field 2 cars, the Irish 26-year-old Veronica Ryan and Manuel Camotes driving the Reese's Dodge Challenger. The Ford-backed Rampage Auto Works is another 3-car team. The 12 of Ali Nelson, the 39 of Alina Bowler, and 39-year-old Australian supercar legend Will Barkley. Rounding out the first third of the grid is Nova Storm Motorsports. They field 2 cars, the 29 of DJ Crockett and the 92 of Winnie Calhoun. Shaka Motorsports fields 2 cars, the number 4 of Atlas Copeland, 40 years old, and the number 14 of Jay Fields, 19 years old. Team Dayspring field 2 Toyota Camrys, the Acer 01 of Sam Winston and the Dollar General 02 of Giovanni Parada. Another Toyota team, Turn 1 Motorsports field 3 cars, the 28 of Victor Kask, the 71 of Will Lewis, and the 82 of Matt Davis. Brazil-based Gennaro Auto Works field 2 cars, the 2 of Troy Copeland, son of Atlas Copeland, and team owner's son Marilla Sousa Cardoso in the 22. The 5th best NRL team is Marcus Motors, and they field 2 Australian drivers, the 11 of Ricky Marcus and the 31 of Ryan Walker, the only American driver Emily Conwell in the 21. Our first 4-car team is the 4th best team, Revolution Racing. Kurt Wilkins drives the 38 Texaco Toyota Camry, Louis Dubois drives the 88 Coldstone car, Bryce Navarro in the 00 Moon Eyes car, and the 08 Hooters Toyota Camry of Ferris Kenyard. The 3rd best team in the NRL, Lone Star Motors, with 3 cars and 3 drivers with 3 different nationalities. Benjamin Parks, the American, Joel Garbowski, the Canadian, and Ian Kirstein, the British driver. Matarasi Racesport fields only 1 car, and that is the 20-year-old Mexican driver of Marta Garcia. And finally, the best team in the NRL is Outcast Autosport. The 4-car team fields the 36 of Todd Marcus, the 63 of Mark Yates, the 90 of Blake Davis, and the 09 of Allison Smith. And that, folks, is your NRL grid. Going to more traditional pre-race ceremonies, let's talk about the track itself. Chicagoland is 1.5 miles in length. The race will be 81 laps, and the pit stop window is roughly lap 50. And the last thing before we talk about the qualifying order, let's go on the grid and talk about the drivers to watch this race. Marta Garcia won the first ever NRL pole here at Chicagoland by 0.03 of a second over Louis Dubois. She finished 15th in the practice session, so it will be interesting to see if she can retain that track position and see if she can win her first ever race. Atlas Copeland was the talk of the town, bringing the Shaka Motorsports car to 3rd place on the qualifying grid. The team did say that they put on qualifying trim, so it'll be interesting to see how far they fall and if they can finish above par position. Sam Winston had a great practice session and he had a great qualifying session. Sam is starting P13 on the grid and is hoping for a great day for that Team Dayspring bunch. And those are your drivers to watch. The last thing we have to talk about before we go green is the full qualifying order of this race. We talked about it earlier in the show. Marta Garcia wins the first ever NRL pole over Louis Dubois, who's starting 2nd. 3rd is Atlas Copeland in the 4, and starting 4th is Ferris Kenyard in the 08. 5th is Joelle Garboski, followed with Allison Smith in the 09 car. Starting 7th is Kurt Wilkins, and starting 8th is the 36 of Todd Marcus. 9th is Ian Kirstein, and rounding out your top 10 is the 11 of Ricky Marcus. 11th is Benjamin Parks, 12th is the 63 of Mark Yates, 13th is the 01 of Sam Winston, 14th is the 14 car of Jay Fields, 15th is the 21 car of Emily Conwell, starting 16th is the 29 of DJ Crockett, 17th is the 22 of Marilla Salsa Cardoso, 18th is Victor Kask, 19th is Matt Davis, and rounding out your top 20 is the 93 of Manuel Camatez. 21st is the 2 of Troy Copeland, starting 22nd is Ryan Walker, 23rd is the 12 car of Ali Nelson, 24th is the 00 of Bryce Navarro, starting 25th is the 71 of Will Lewis, Will Barkley starts 26th, Veronica Ryan starts 27th, Winnie Calhoun, Quincy Torres Jr., and Vanessa Rodriguez round out your top 30. Starting 31st is the 02 of Giovanni Parada, starting 32nd is the 90 of Blake Davis, Chris Lanford starts 33rd, Ken Kilo starts 34th, and rounding out your final row is the 39 of Alina Bowler and Angela Bryant in the 1. And with that concludes the first ever pre-race show of the National Racing League. Engines are ready to be fired, so we'll see you in the booth. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the pre-race show. The cars are rolling here in Chicagoland. I'm joined here in the booth by Brandon Crasta. How are we feeling, Brandon?
I'm feeling good. It's a sunny day here in Chicagoland. Many fans excited to see the start of a brand new league, and we've got a great competitive field out here today. A lot of mix in qualifying.
Yeah, we have a lot of drivers that, we covered here in the pre-race show. Drivers like Atlas Copeland for Shaka Motorsports. A lot of mix up here in qualifying. But I know all of these teams are very excited to get this race going. We've been all the teams and all the drivers have been working really hard to get this race going. So I think it'll be a thriller here.
All right, yes, and that pace car, that Dodge Challenger pace car, representing the Dodge Challenger we've got in this series. Great to see that, but he's going to pull in, and I'm going to let you take it away for the start.
Marta Garcia takes the green flag, and we are green here in Chicagoland for the first ever NRL race.
Garcia trying to cover up immediately into turn 1. Those two Supras on the front row. Different teams. Garcia by herself. No teammates today. She leads down into the first corner.
Ian Kirstein, a brilliant start, took it 3 wide down the bottom. He's trying to make it 3 wide. Joelle Garboski covers it off. Atlas Copeland stays in second. Marta Garcia is going to come off of turn 4 and lead the first ever NRL green flag lap as they're 3 wide for second.
It's a really poor start for the Outcasts. Had Smith and Marcus slip up to the top, and we're almost 4 wide back here. With the 63 of Mark Yates trying to split it all the way through the middle.
They almost all crashed up there. They all went all the way up to the high side as Atlas Copeland is starting to get shuffled out. Marta is racing away from the pack. Benjamin Parks is now up to second. And look at the 01 of Sam Winston, the Team Dayspring car. He's fighting for a top 5. Brandon, His par position is about 20th place, and he's already up to 4th.
Yeah, but you got to be careful, though, with going really hard on the start because you burn your tires up. You wear them out. This is a very abrasive racetrack surface. And by pushing hard at the start, like Marta Garcia, Benjamin Parks, Ian Kirstein, and Sam Winston, all 4 of them breaking away from the pack, it's going to hurt their tires later in the run.
Yeah, that's something you have to be careful for, is Todd Marcus works on passing Mark Yates and Emily Conwell drifting up the track, and Marta Garcia is starting to pull away, but a battle for seconds going on. Too. Oh no, Atlas Copeland. We knew that he was going to fall off a little bit. The team did say that they were on qualifying trim. But right now he's getting shuffled all the way out of the pack. The high side is not where you want to be.
Does not look like he got any damage, but he did in fact catch the wall on the outside 3 off of 2.
Allison Smith 3 wide bottom with Marilla Sousa Cardoso clears him and Joel Garbowski. Todd Marcus is up to 6th.
We're starting to see a single file line breakout, but Kirstein dives to the bottom on Parks here for the 2nd position now. Those 2 manufactured teammates.
And look at that, Sam Winston's following through, trying to get by Benjamin Parks as well.
Look in the background, I saw those big old moon eyes looking at me as Bryce Navarro stuck through the middle 3 wide and made it stick.
Bryce Navarro
4 wide at the back.
Oh, DJ Crockett tried to make it 4 wide. Fortunately, that didn't stick, and we're still going. Bryce Navarro in that Revolution had a very poor qualifying session. He's trying to make his way up through the field. He's way below par position, and right now Bryce Navarro trying to get by the 93 of Manuel Camates. That's a battle for 4th right now. Todd Marcus trying to get by Kurt Wilkins in the 38.
Right now, as I'm looking through our timing screens here, the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment is the 36 of Todd Marcus. He's got the quickest lap by over a 10th so far, and he's now pulled up to the back of Wilkins. Garcia leads into 1 and is slowly being reeled in by Kirstein and Winston here.
But Winston right now seems like he's the faster one. He's looking down the inside of Ian Kirstein for 2nd.
You can't normally get runs on corner exits like that, but Winston's got so much traction. Kirstein's having to take it all the way to the white line to keep him back.
And Todd Marcus is up to 4th position, easily gets by the 38 of Kurt Wilkins. That 36 car is on a charge right now.
New fastest lap of the race for Marcus that time.
And there he goes, Winston up to 2nd.
Not sure if I like the choice by Marcus there. He's going to get really close to the back bumper of Kirstein there, and he almost got into the left rear quarter panel. And I think I just saw Ricky Marcus clip the wall off of turn 2 last time by.
Todd Marcus following through on Sam Winston. Might try to get the 2 for 1 here. Not going to be able to.
Oh, and we have contact at the back. Crockett gets into the back of Camates, but it looks like they kept it under control off of 4.
Oh, J Fields blocked really low there to get Victor Kask. And that move's going to work. He's going to hold him off. And Todd Marcus is through on Sam Winston for 2nd. He now sets sight on Marta Garcia.
Good gracious. Todd Marcus is proving that the stats aren't lying and that he is, in fact, the fastest car out there right now.
Todd had an okay qualifying. He's starting 8th. He had a really good practice time, though. We know that this car outcast the best team. You know, every race you're going to have to go through an outcast. You're going to have to go through Todd Marcus, Mark Yates, Allison Smith, and right now he's all the way already trying to get under Marta Garcia for the lead. This 36 a rocket ship.
Marcus already challenging the back of the 49, and he darts low.
For the lead, Todd Marcus makes easy work off Marta Garcia, and the 36 car's the leader.
There was nothing Marta could do there. She just got absolutely caught off guard by that incredible dart low that Marcus made down to turn number 1.
Ian Kirstein trying to take back 3rd from Sam Winston. Looks like he will.
Wow. Close quarters there off of turn 4 once again. Parks and Wilkins got right front to left rear contact back there.
3 wide. Oh, man. The 38
Wilkins'
washed
car does
up.
not look like it's handling good.
I think he thought that Ricky Marcus was going to try to try to cram him. Looks like he gave way more room when nobody was there.
The 3 Shadow teammates battling for not last right now just had a 3 wide moment and they almost crashed in turn 1.
That's Vanessa Rodriguez in the 77, the Stuntman Racing team. Really, anything that isn't last for Stuntman is above par, and it's a good day, technically.
3 wide for 4th up here. 3 wide for 4th up here.
Oh, Sam Winston trying to stop the bleeding. Allison Smith passed the 0-1 when we weren't looking. Oh! Mark Yates almost wrecked Dubois. And that's going to pay the price. They're 4 wide, and they all sorted out.
I cannot believe that Mark Yates thought that was going to be a good idea. He almost just absolutely smashed a bunch of cars, but luckily they all know each other well enough to where they were able to sort that out.
Oh, man. What a wad of cars here. They're trying to go 4 wide again. Benjamin Parks.
They are going to go 4 wide again.
Oh.
Don't go 5.
Don't go 5. Oh man. Benjamin Parks goes through.
Kirsten clipped the wall off of 4. Unbelievable.
Seems like they're starting to sort it out now. Thankfully.
Yeah, but it's like you said, you're going to have to face an outcast pretty much every week, and Mark Yates is much quicker than these guys, but it obviously just doesn't look like he's got the confidence to try and make moves on these people.
And Todd Marcus has already checked out of the lead.
2 rows of 3. These guys are battling hard right now.
Those are 3 revolutions that's 3 wide. Ferris Kenyard in the 08, Kurt Wilkins in the 38, and Louis Dubois in the 88. And no, they have not settled it yet.
Oh, wow. That 38's all over the place. I think we've seen him wash high. I think we've seen him stick it low. And I've seen that car almost make contact with about 6 or 7 people today.
We'll tell you what, we are expected to have 1 pit stop in this race if we do not get a caution flag. So if your car does handle poorly, you're going to have to wait until roughly the halfway point of this race to see if you can make your car feel better. Because right now, Mark Yates is trying to salvage a poor qualifying effort. He's trying to pass Dubois for 7th, or for 8th, my bad.
Yeah, and we've got some 3 wide here at the back of the field. People are getting really antsy. Like you said, those outcasts really fast, and even Blake Davis with his pretty poor qualifying has made his way up to 24th now. But they were just 3 wide, and they almost had a big ol' accident down in turns 1 and 2.
That's the former greatest of all time, Blake Davis. Was the first person to set a lap time in practice. So technically he was the greatest at that point, because nobody else took a lap.
Allison Smith has taken 2nd from Marta Garcia while we weren't looking.
And the battle for 2nd has tightened up. Garbowski can't get a move off on Garcia. He's going to have to bide his time. But right now, Marta looks like she's starting to sink a little bit. She doesn't look like she was as fast as she was, because she was pulling away at the very start of the race, and now it looks like she's starting to fall off a little bit.
Pushed hard on her tires. That's one of the big things that with a track like this, on a fresh set of tires, there's a window that you got to follow. That if you push too hard on the tires when they're a brand new set of tires, if you push too hard, you permanently damage the surface of that tire. And if you don't treat them right in the first few laps, that tire will wear wrong, and it will wear worse than a normal set of tires.
Well, right now, Garcia is doing her best to fend off Garbowski. One more time, hats off to Sam Winston, who settled into the race in 5th. And it looks like our huge battle in the latter half of the top 10 has cooled off a little bit. Mark Yates has passed about 5 or 6 cars from qualifying. He's up to 8th, but he still has a long way to go if he wants to win this race.
We're seeing some tire fall off now, some pretty extreme tire fall off from some cars. Like Todd Marcus's best lap is a 28.7. He's now running 29.3s. But if you look towards the back of the field, people who were running low 29s at the start of the race are running in the 30s now almost. So tire fall off is huge here, and I say whoever pits earliest is going to get a big jump on the field, but whoever pits latest is going to have a huge advantage come later on.
Yeah, the undercut is when you pit before the leader. The overcut is when you pit after. The advantage of pitting on the undercut, pitting before the leader, is that you do get a few laps of fresher tires, and because of that tire fall off, like let's say if the tire fall off is about a second, you gain a second every lap because the leader's on old tires and you're on new ones, but that'll hurt you later on, and the overcut is basically the inverse of that. So you want to be faster on the short run or the long run. As Sam Winston's up to fourth.
We saw this earlier in the race. We've got another outcast coming up, fastest car on the racetrack, and that's Mark Yates. He's 0.2 a lap quicker than race leader Todd Marcus. Him and Allison Smith are just, it almost seems like they're settling in right now. Smith is slightly faster than Marcus, but she's not trying to like chase him down or anything. But they're just consistently faster than about everybody else on track except for Yates, who's 0.1 quicker right now. Big old side-by-side battle at the back of the field right now. The two teammates, Buller and Nelson, right now, as Veronica Ryan shoves it down the inside there into 3.
That's Veronica Ryan in the Ditech. And the 3 Rampages all together right now. Alina Bowler qualified last. So Alina has had the ultimate upward battle. Really anything would be better than that. And right now she's looking underneath Allie Nelson and Will Barkley. And we talked about it a little bit in the show. He's going from basically V8 supercars, saying he wants to spend a year to see the NRL, race stock cars for a year, and then evaluate his later options. Right now, I'd say for someone who mainly drives road courses in a totally different car, he's doing pretty good right now.
Talk about somebody who's starting to pick up some speed on the leaders. Joel Garbowski is right up behind Allison Smith now in that 64. He is pushing hard, and it looks like he saved some tires at the start of this run because he's now encroached on this two-way fight for the lead.
Yeah, Garbowski has always kind of been around Allison Smith, but he hasn't really been able to take the challenge to her yet. Right now it's an Outcast 1-2, but Lone Star Motors, they're a 3-car team, and, they're the third best team. There's a lot of difference between that. So it's really impressive that Garbowski's right now hanging with the best team on the grid right now, as Marta Garcia is trying to pass Sam Winston. That's for 4th. And looks like she's going to be able to dive it down low. Yes, she will. And Benjamin Parks and Mark Yates are right on their tails. Looks like Winston's going to have a long few corners ahead of him.
Yeah, and now we got Mark Yates into this fight. But another driver that's been impressing me, that has had a pretty decent run up the order, is Louis Dubois in the 88. He's now sort of settled himself in, and he's followed Mark Yates through almost every move that Yates has made over the last few laps.
It was very interesting. In the silly season, Louis Dubois was one of the highest touted drivers in free agency. And for whatever reason, late in silly season, ended up in the hands of Revolution Racing, which was a fantastic pickup for them. And Dubois has kind of settled in as something of a lead driver for that team. And right now, in preseason testing, Dubois was great. In practice, Dubois was great. And even though qualifying, Dubois did qualify second, and right now they're running 7th, so technically, something of an off day. But Dubois for, Revolution, the 4th best team, great day for them in the 88. As Mark Yates is looking underneath Marta Garcia, not going to be able to.
If Dubois had a chance to take it 3 wide there, he would have taken it. He darts to the inside on Mark Yates. And Dubois may have had a bad start, fell back from his front row start, but just like cut that out. Dubois may have had a bad start from that front row start, but that was probably just a little bit of tire saving, because now he is arguably one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, because all these people that have come up and charged to the front, they're starting to fade back on their tire wear, and he just has not, his lap times have not wavered over the last 6 or 7 laps. You
have a 4-car line, starting at 4th, ending at 8th right
Garbowski
now.
has taken second.
Garbowski has taken second. Joel Garbowski right now is probably about the second fastest car on track right now. He only ran about maybe 100 slower than Todd Marcus. I think if there's anybody that's going to win this race, I think it'll be the 37, the 64, or the 09 car.
Yeah, correct there. Right now, Marta Garcia has just gotten back by Benjamin Parks. We've got some almost 3 wide back here. 2 of the Revolutions fighting with Kirstein and Winston, who were the early pace setters at the start. But it's really showing how much they must have pushed their tires at the start, because they've just got no grip. They're just begging for that pit cycle to come at any moment here.
Oh,
Garbowski's under pressure from
3
Smith.
wide in turn 3. Kurt Wilkins down to the bottom on Kirstein and Ferris Kenyard. Textbook move from Kurt Wilkins. Look
Big
at
move.
that.
Yeah, he's passed 3 cars in 1 lap. 11th to 8th there from Wilkins.
Louis Dubois
Winston
trying to push up Benjamin Parks. A little bit of contact there in turn 2. And yeah, Benjamin Parks is going to be able to cover off the 88. Mark Yates.
There seems to be a definite split in the field right now of those who have got extreme pace and those who seem to still be figuring out what their cars want to do.
Mark Yates is hounding Marta Garcia for 4th right now.
Yeah, he almost entered the back bumper of Garcia's car there. He was pushing so hard to the corner. He has saved so much rubber on that tire that he just can find grip where everybody else is struggling to find it right now.
Well, tell you what, if Mark Yates is able to clear Marta Garcia coming off of turn 2, which I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be able to, the only drivers keeping him from the race lead, oh man, are the 3 cars that are all the way up there battling for the lead right now.
Give him some clean air to just run the lines he wants to run. It's now an outcast 1-3-4 at the moment. The 4th car of Blake Davis is currently still fighting for 23rd, where he's been for the last about 20 laps or so. But pit cycle will decide the true ending paces of these cars.
Atlas Culpin, we talked about Atlas in the pre-race show, qualified 3rd, and it's now settling around the top 20, which is still a good day for that Shaka Motorsports team. We talked about it time and time again, how they decided, you know what, we want to start ahead of everybody, and we'll catch up later. And right now it seems like that's working out, because Atlas has kind of settled in around where that Shaka Motorsports car is supposed to be.
Yeah, and if you look behind Atlas Copeland, there's 2 of the turn 1 cars right there of Matt Davis and Victor Kask, who have really had invisible days so far today. But edge of top 20 seems to be what they're having at the moment.
And that's about where the turn 1s are expected to be. So, but talk about where they're not supposed to be. Will Lewis is having a good day for turn 1. They're expected to be around, the P18. Well, that's where he's running. But Will Lewis is still having a good day. Giovanni Parada, Sam Winston's teammate, who's currently duking it out in the top 10, he's still having an above par day. So a good day for Team Dayspring all around.
And we've got a war going on right now for the 8th position, for the 9th and 8th positions right now. The Revolution cars are getting eaten alive by Winston and Kirstein, who seem to have backed off and saved some of their tires and are now pushing again.
I'll tell you what, this is what these cars have to offer in the long run. Because, these cars are expected to pit. The pit delta is around lap 50. So we'll have to take an eye on pit road in about 10 or so laps as they're trying to go 3 wide. These drivers are bold around the tri-oval.
And we've got Mark Yates is no longer catching the leaders. His pace is completely burnt up. I think he pushed too much out of that car. But talk about someone whose pace has not died out. Todd Marcus must have just been cruising out front because now he's pushing and he's about 0.2 a lap quicker than the rest of the field.
Todd Marcus this lap ran a 29.772. Garbowski in second, 29.938.
Which is crazy. The only other person in the 29.7s is Ian Kirstein back in 10th right now.
I'll tell you what.
And who knows?
No, pit stops can change anything, and especially a caution can change anything. We are far from this race being over.
Oh, absolutely. Because a caution comes out at a time when drivers aren't expecting it. Let's say 10 laps after a pit cycle or 20 laps before a pit cycle. You've got to make the big decision on whether or not you want to go off the beaten path to try and make a different strategy out of it, or just continue to be confident with what you're doing already.
Tell you what, right now Mark Yates seems to be in something of a no man's land. He's not really close to the leaders, but he has definitely pulled away from the battle for the the battle behind him. For the final spot in the top 5. It seems like he can just kind of cruise over to his pit stop, and we know that he has a great long run car. He started about 13th, I believe, so still a great recovery day for Mark Yates. We'll have to see what happens to him in the pit stops.
Absolutely, but now we're getting into an interesting dynamic because the pit cycle's approaching quick, but the lap traffic's approaching quicker for Todd Marcus here.
Quincy Torres Jr. currently running 36, battling Ken Kilos and Angela Bryant for last place, and Todd Marcus is catching this pack of 5 in a hurry. And look at this, Chris Lanford trying to get underneath Vanessa Rodriguez. They're fighting for position right in front of him.
Yeah, if the leaders catch this battle and they're fighting for a position, there's not really much you can do. The lap cars aren't just going to move out of your way and let you through because you're the leader, because they are fighting for every point they can get. Because down the line, that could be the difference. Even though they're running at the back of the field, that could be the difference between a 32nd or a 33rd place in points.
And not only that, you're fighting for the Constructors' Championship as well. If you get enough points in the Constructors, your team can improve, meaning you get better cars for next year. So there's a lot on the line for even these smaller teams. As right now, Todd Marcus has finally reached lap traffic, giving Quincy Torres Jr. the push of his life right now.
This is the fastest Torres has felt since he had fresh tires earlier. That 36 is so much faster than the 3rd and 4th place cars now. I just have to imagine he was just toying with everybody and was actually just cruising when they were all running right behind him, because, my goodness, he had so much more left in the tank on those tires.
And
whoa.
And this is important. Angela Bryant is side by side with Ken Kilos right now. That means Garbowski cannot get by, which means more time for Marcus to get past these drivers.
Oh. Garbowski put the bumper to Bryant into turn 1 and sent her all the way up the track.
But look at this now. There you go, Garbowski trying to go for the 2-for-1 deal. Chris Lance. Oh no, Allison Smith almost wrecks with Quincy Torres Jr. They all save it, and Garbowski pits.
And they almost crashed again. Rodriguez got into Bryant. And there were a few cars that came in the lap prior for pit stops at the midfield.
Mark Yates is in. Louis Dubois is in. Sam Winston. Basically, everybody is on pit road right now.
The cars that came in a lap earlier, Jay Fields, Bryce Navarro, Murillo Salza Cardoso, Victor Kask. Oh, they're going to be exiting their pits when people are going to be trying to get in. The 0-1 trying to find a way into his stall finally does. Chaos in the pit lane right now. People trying to solve which way to go. Nobody's going to take 2 tires here. It's all going to be 4 tires. You cannot afford to have a tire deficit with this many laps to go.
Right now, Todd Marcus is staying out. He is elected not to pit. We'll have to see what the strategy is. I think what the crew is thinking is, with the less busy pit road, that means that, with everybody trying to check up, maybe... Oh, wow, he's still not pit.
Oh, we got contact in 3 and 4. Angela Bryant gets into Matt Davis through 3 and 4. Oh, my goodness, that was close. That was almost a mid-cycle caution. That could have completely thrown this race wide open.
Yeah, well, the big winner of that would have been Todd Marcus. Because right now, he has to pit this time. He has to pit this time.
But he's got the 71 there in his way. He's got to slow up if he wants to make his pit entry. He's
and there he goes. Todd
Smith
Marcus to pit road. Allison Smith, his teammate. Looks like an outcast strategy call. And look at this as we give a wide shot of pit road. Pit road is completely empty. It's just Marta Garcia taking her service right now and Chris Lanford exiting the pits. We'll have to see.
Into the pits.
We'll have to see if this was the correct strategy for that outcast.
And the last car yet to pit is Angela Bryant in the 1 car, but she should be coming in this time. Yes, she will. So that is a full pit cycle here at Chicagoland.
Todd Marcus exits his pit stall with no issues, as does Allison Smith in the 09.
Smith spent a little bit of extra time buffing out the right front fender on that car, it looks like.
On board right now with Todd Marcus. We'll have to see how much time he gains or loses.
Garbowski
right in the back of the screen, that's Joel Garbowski. And Todd Marcus exits the track, and it looks like...
Get those tires up to temp.
Yeah, cold tires right now for Todd Marcus. And there he is. You see on the rear bumper camera, that's Joel Garbowski in the 64 hunting down Todd Marcus for the race lead.
All right, so now that we've gone through a pit cycle, it's now going to be interesting to see what kinds of cars had adjustments made to their track bars to try and make the cars looser or tighter. Who's got more grill tape on now to try and make their cars quicker in a straight, but also better in cornering, depending on which way they went.
Garbowski is catching Todd Marcus in a hurry right now.
Yep, he's already
through
got
the tri-oval
some laps on those tires.
Garbowski gets underneath Todd Marcus. A battle for the lead. Garbowski into turn 1.
Garbowski's got to take advantage of this. He's got to run as far as he can before Marcus's tires get into the same window his are right now.
He clears. Joel Garbowski, for the first time today, leads at Chicagoland.
And the same story just happened with Mark Yates and Allison Smith. Yates had a few laps on his tires, and he just cruised past Smith. But after a few laps here, Smith and Marcus are going to be right on, as Marcus is already on Garbowski.
Todd Marcus let Garbowski lead for 1 lap. He said, "That's enough for you." And he cruises past the 64 for the lead again.
That's crazy right
there. What
there.
a power move by Todd Marcus.
That 36 was just so fast before the pit cycle that even the overcut did not hurt him track position-wise.
I think it was the fact that pit road was less busy. That may have given him a little bit more time, but I can't believe that the overcut of 3 laps cost Todd Marcus nothing, and now he has the freshest tires in the field.
That just shows how good that 36 was before the pit cycle. He was easily 0.3 a lap quicker than some of the other guys, including Garbowski.
Mark Yates is up to 3rd. He passed Allison Smith. And look at that. He's a lot closer to the top 2 now. If he gets his rhythm together, I think this race is not over for Mark Yates.
No, Yates was quicker the previous lap, but Marcus just responded. He's quicker that lap.
Todd Marcus ran only 0.2 slower than his fastest lap, a 28.957. That's about a whole 1/10 of a second faster than Garbowski that lap.
Almost an identical lap time to the one that Benjamin Parks just ran, a 9.75, as he just took 6th from Marta Garcia and is climbing up the order.
Parks is right now fighting lap traffic. That's the 77 of Vanessa Rodriguez.
And speaking of traffic, I can promise you that we are not done with traffic in this race, because the leaders are a lot closer to the traffic after pits than they were at the start of the race. So we are going to have to deal with lap cars before the end of this one.
Manuel Camatez is only about 2 seconds ahead of Todd Marcus. That's only 1 lap car. But in front, there's the Rampage battle that we were talking about earlier on in the race. A big wad of cars featuring Will Barkley, Winnie Calhoun, and others.
All of the top 4 cars were progressively quicker than the next one. Marcus ran a 29.2, Garbowski a 29.1, Yates a 29 flat, Smith a 28.9. They're all a 10th quicker than the car in front of the other.
And Allison Smith has caught Mark Yates. That's a battle for 3rd now.
Using different lines to try and get momentum off the corner, it works. She flies up to the back of the 63 here. These 2 teammates, different tires. Smith pitting 3 laps later than teammate Yates, and is now flying up to the back now that her tires are into a window that she likes, and she is just absolutely sailing towards the front of this field. But Marcus has responded as well. He's now into the 28.9s.
While this battle is going on, let's give our FedEx Turn 1 update. Victor Kask in the 28 is currently running P18. Will Lewis is the highest running Turn 1 car, running 15th. And Matt Davis is currently running 21st. Both Turn 1 cars are currently above par position. Allison Smith currently unable to capitalize on that momentum and to put a real attack on Mark Yates. Right now, she's just trying to fill up his mirror, trying to make sure that he makes a mistake. And Mark Yates trying to lap the 93, trying to prevent him from being held up anymore. And you see he's already pulled a massive gap to Joel Garbowski.
Marcus, while dealing with traffic, a 29.2, Garbowski a 29.2, and then Yates and Smith 28.9 and 29 flat. They are starting to pick up the pace, pick up the heat, and pull towards Marcus for the lead. But there's not really anybody else past that point that has that kind of speed. Everybody else is kind of just in their own little battles back here. But one driver that's really impressed me after this pit cycle that has climbed up the order quite nicely is Bryce Navarro in the 00.
And, you know, looking at the battle for third, now it seems like it's a battle for second. Garbowski is falling off and is falling to the clutches of the two outcasts.
Yes, he is. The adjustments that they made on that car, obviously.
Oh no! Mark Yates has an issue! He has a problem! From third place, Mark Yates has some sort of mechanical failure, and he's gonna dive down the pit road.
That looks like a tire failure to me on that 63.
Mark Yates had a fantastic day. He started 13th, worked his way all the way up to third, and right now it's in shambles. Mark Yates had a tire failure. And now he's going to make the shameful walk to pit road to get his car serviced.
Now the question is, how many positions can he salvage here? Because it's obvious to me that if he does just a normal two-tire stop and pulls out of the pits as quick as he can, there's still some cars at the back of this field that he could finish ahead of. It's going to be an uphill battle from here. But obviously, points are still on the cards to salvage for Mark Yates.
Mark Yates, a tire failure late in the race.
That's Torres Jr. going around him right now. So Yates will drop to the last position, but we know how quick those outcast cars are, and he is not just going to settle with 1 point today. He's going to try and get past as many cars as he can now with that fresh set of left side tires.
I'll tell you what, we still have a good bit of time left to go, and we saw at the end of the long run that they were lapping these cars that he's now fighting for position, so it's definitely possible for him to at least, you know, not finish last right now. Currently, yeah, he is last position, but that's something that, you know, we're going to see around the revolving ticker, the progress of Mark Yates. But right now...
Big ol' hornet's nest battle, just like earlier in the race, between Kirstein, Winston, Ricky, Marcus, who's had a great climb up the order, Garcia, Wilkins, and where did Emily Conwell come from?
The Marcus Motors car of Emily Conwell, the Sprite 21, trying to take away fifth. 3 wide into turn 3.
Lord. We did not see that kind of pace out of Conwell during the first run, but they must have made some great adjustments to that car on the second.
I'm not sure what lap Emily Conwell pit. She may have pit a little bit earlier than everybody else and made some top-tier adjustments. Because look at this massive wad of cars. This goes all the way back to 11th. And it's a battle for 5th.
Yeah. And it's soon to be a battle. It's soon to be all the way back to 12.
Oh, Sam Winston. Wow. Don't go 4 wide. Oh, they're going 4 wide. Marcus on the bottom.
Oh, they're going to make contact if they're not careful here. Goodness
Still 4 wide in the turn 1. All the way to the high side. Sam Winston drifts up high. Marta Garcia brushes the wall. They go to 3 wide now. And somehow at the end of that, Marta Garcia comes out on top.
That was some great heads-up driving by Marta Garcia and Ian Kirstein there to not get absolutely put in the wall and into each other there. And not only that, they both benefited from it. They beat Winston and Marcus off the corner.
Bryce Navarro had a horrible qualifying effort, qualified well outside the top 15. Well, guess what? He's now up
Marcus
to
is in traffic.
12th.
Marcus is in traffic. He's finally hit the lap cars.
I'll tell you what, Todd Marcus, he doesn't need to be in a rush. Because you see,
No.
all the way up, you may have seen him for just a second. Joel Garbowski is way behind the 36 of Todd Marcus. At this point,
losing
yeah,
so much time.
Yeah, it's now a battle for second. But right now, Todd Marcus, he doesn't need to panic. As long as a caution doesn't come out, and even if a caution comes out, he has the lap cars between them. That's going to help him in the restart. Right now, I think his only mission is to just slowly pick off these lap cars. If they battle, just bide your time. Because right now, all of the cards are in your hand right now.
As we look back to Mark Yates in the 63, he has now caught his first competition to try and get some extra points to salvage for Outcast here. He's caught up to Quincy Torres Jr. He's about 4 or 5 tenths a lap quicker than the guys around there. Oh my God, look at the speed difference through the corner there. About 10 miles an hour difference through 1 and 2 between Yates and Torres.
That's the difference from the best team and the third to worst team. Oh yeah, no, don't fight that, Torres. And also, Mark Yates is on fresh tires, Torres is on old tires.
Yep.
Mark Yates is up to 35th. Sights set on the 77 of Vanessa Rodriguez.
Allison Smith has caught second place Joel Garbowski and goes to the inside into 3. Side by side through 3 and 4 here, and the
Allison Smith clears.
Is prevail.
And Outcast 1-2.
64. Conwell is still managing to hold off Wilkins and Parks, but they are just right behind her. I don't know how much longer she can hold them off. Garcia is coming up with a head of steam now as well. But she has driven brilliantly so far.
Marta Garcia started on pole position, had a great short run car, but lost almost all of her positions on the long run. Well, it seems like that Materassi Race Sport team made at least pretty good adjustments, because she's now fighting for a top 5 position, dives underneath Kurt Wilkins, and will be up to 7th.
Big run from that 49. They must have made some long run adjustments, like you said. As Mark Yates has now picked off Vanessa Rodriguez, that would be, I believe, that'd be 2 points better than what he would have gotten, I believe, over Torres Jr. And so now it's just a salvage day for Mark Yates, unfortunately. You hate to have days like these, but you still got to have your mind in the game, because at all times it could come down to it later in the season, whether or not you have a one position or the other in the points, and your team gets one position or the other in the points as well.
Yeah, drivers' points can come down to 1 point, and constructors can come up to 1 point. But you have to think, this is only one race out of 15. You know, all of these mistakes will come up to bite you here in Nazareth, but that's just how racing works. You're going to have problems. Almost nobody can have a perfect season. So you just kind of have to take your lumps and just do better next week.
Yep, and there's we've got a
2 to go for Todd Marcus.
An issue. Ryan Walker is out of the race.
Oh, Ryan Walker
is out of the race. We'll have to get back and look at that later on. It has to be a mechanical issue on that car, but he is out of the race.
I'm told that he blew an engine, but he dived down to the pits right as that happened. Race officials don't see that as caution worthy. 1 lap to go for Todd Marcus.
Absolute clinic today. He cleared all the lap traffic. He didn't need to clear the lap traffic because Allison Smith hasn't even caught them yet. That's how far ahead he is.
Down the back straight he goes for the final time. He took the lead very early in the race. Lap 11, he took the lead. Ever since then, he didn't lead on the pit cycle. Joel Garbowski led 1 lap, but Todd Marcus comes out victorious and wins the first ever NRL race here in Chicagoland Speedway.
Todd Marcus, the monster, takes the checkered flag first in that 36 car. Allison Smith brings it home for an outcast 1-2, and then Garbowski, Dubois, and an excellent performance. Emily Conwell held on to 5th.
Benjamin Parks comes in 6th, Marta Garcia 7th, Kurt Wilkins comes in 8th, Ricky Marcus 9th, Bryce Navarro completes a recovery day, finishes in the top 10. Ian Christine finishes 11th. Hats off to the 01 Team Dayspring of Sam Winston. He finishes in P12.
The rest of your order is Kenyard, Cardoso, and Lewis. The top 15 with Troy Copeland, Kask, Parada, Matt Davis, and Blake Davis. Father and son, 19th and 20th. Wow.
What a thrill of a race, and we didn't even need a caution flag to do it.
Exactly. And Todd Marcus just proved to everybody he means business coming into this season.
One more thing until we sign off, let's talk about the point situation after Chicagoland. After a dominant win, Todd Marcus is the points leader, 7 points over Allison Smith and Joelle Garbowski, who are tied for second in points. The reason they're tied is because Joelle Garbowski led 1 lap and Allison Smith did not, and you get 1 extra point for leading a lap in the race. And after that, nothing's really interesting. It's really just the finishing results because there's only 1 race and you can't really vary in points. Sam Winston finished 12th and is now 12th in points. That's a great day. Will Lewis finished 15th. That's a great day for him, as is Victor Kask, who finished 17th. And Turn 1 in general had a great day because Matt Davis finished 19th. Blake Davis in the Outcast finishes 20th. Atlas Copeland is 21st. But most notably, you see there in 32nd, Mark Yates for Outcast Autosport. He had a blown tire, so that's why he finishes as low as he did, and he's all the way down to 32nd in points. It's going to be a long day for him next week. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Cale Teskar Jr., and I was joined by Brandon Craster for this race, and we'll see you next race at Golden State.